Got it.
It's just not clear if we can make it into like a serious reading or something, or just use part of it. Well, that part is awesome. Like that would be great. If this group came and singing "And the Days Go By" while we're flowing up the ground, I think that would be incredible. But I don't know how to do the rest of it because it's not there's no tune. It's just like it's like he says it. It's such a good song though, and like there's so many great things in there that are so perfectly composed.
Talking to that one?
Keep talking.
Never mind, that is drum. Trying to figure where the vocal mic is plugged into. Figured it out, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it blinks a little sharp every now and then, but it's not that bad.
Oh, it doesn't say A sharp, it says it's a sharp A.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's different.
Sharp A, that's the kind of markers I use.
It's a dog, yeah.
Good afternoon. We'll begin in about 5 minutes. Please, everyone, make sure you have a pamphlet. This is what we'll be using to guide our service today. And for those of you who are here on my left, we're really looking to bring the community together here on the right-hand side. If you care to move, please do. You'll be able to hear, don't worry about that, but the guitar players look a lot better from this side. We'll begin in about 5 minutes. I'm honored. Shana Tova, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the Contemporary Confession service, which kind of starts our afternoon rush to break the fast, right? We hope that this service, first of all, it's participatory. Please join us. It follows the same structure as the regular prayer book, that if you see something in italics, please read that as a congregation. If you see the songs, the music, the words are in your pamphlets, please sing along. That's why we're here. We'll begin with the thoughts for our time that's on the screen. Here I am, Hineni. Here I am. But will my presence, my fragility, my fatigue, my hunger, my wanting, and my waiting help you answer my prayers?
Here I am, but will my contemplation, my reflection, and my tshuva change the world? Here I am, aware of the threats that plague our society: climate change, mass shootings, economic uncertainty, gender discrimination, mental illness, terrorism, nations playing political games with dire nuclear consequences, as well as what my friends, family, and I deal with directly: personal loss, self-doubt, concern for the future, desperation in an insane world.
Here I am, Hineni. Here I am, bombarded by a 24-hour news cycle reporting on the latest episode of gun violence, immigrant abuses, racial prejudices, destructive weather, violence against children, and political hypocrisy. There is anti-Semitism, poverty, xenophobia, and bullying. So much negativity that appears to be constant. I am overwhelmed. Hineni,
Here
Here I am, calling out to you for change from the straits of my soul.
The psalmist writes of how you reply to your people's meek requests with a grand expanse. But look, if I'm really honest with myself, I know the change has to come from me, from us. I just need to know that you're there, that you can hear me. Can you, my God, hear me? Can you, my community, hear me? Can you, my family, hear me? Can I hear myself?
Hineni, here I am, ready to change, listening to my heart, and I call out with my small, frail voice from a narrow place, with a request: Eineni, answer me.
Here I am, here I am, and the light is dying. Where are you? Where are you? Will you answer me? All alone in the quiet, that my ears are thirsty for your voice, for your voice. Can you answer me? If I try, maybe I can see a shadow in the sodium light that masquerades as moon. If I try, I might take off like a sparrow, and I'll travel along the guiding breeze. Very soon, very soon, that's the sound of longing. Are you there? Are you there? Will you answer me? If I try, maybe I can see your shadow in the sodium light that masquerades as moon. If I try, I might take off like a sparrow, and I'll travel along a guiding
Again, God? It's been a whole year since last Yontif with you. It seems like yesterday that year ago. I remember wanting to show both you and myself all the changes I'd make, all the fine things I'd do, as I sat here last Yontif, as I sat here with you. Those beautiful prayers, how they inspired me. The idea that we could still grow emotionally, spiritually. The thought that I alone could make a difference in the world. Such powerful words when I read them. How committed I felt when I said them.
But I fear I've fallen short, God. I fear I am the same person now I was then, with the same limitations, the same struggles, the same inertia. Does this struggle not end? Do we forever have to be starting again and still again? Asking forgiveness, confessing to sin? Does this cycle have something to do with why I'm compelled to come back to you? To keep trying, right? We must keep trying. It is a process, right? Crossing those deserts within. A process, not an end.
We live in a dynamic world. Everything changes. Winds change direction, sands shift, rivers change course, mountains move, glaciers melt. No one ever stays the same. Everyone changes. One cell becomes two, two become four. What we were and what we are give way to what we will become. Children grow up, we grow old, and there is no choice except for what we choose to become. So the question is not, will we change, but how will we change? I know today is a day for change, but change moves through me like an unsettling wind, invisible, yet I know it's there. I feel its movement. At times, the breeze is cold and makes me shudder. In my attempt to shield myself from the harshness of life, do I wrap myself with so many layers that I cut off my very breath. At other times, the breeze is friendly and awakens me to possibilities.
But in my zeal to advance life's potential, do I shed my layers in such impassioned response that I lose perspective? I'm confused about this thing called change.
Today is a day for change. Today is a day for growth.
Am I here to change?
Am I here to grow?
Am I here because I'm a Jew and it is Yom Kippur?
Am I here because my family expects me to be here?
Am I here to strengthen the bonds with my family, with my people, with God?
Am I here to seek forgiveness for sins I have committed?
I am here to understand how exactly I have sinned. I am here to discover my sins.
But what is a sin? Sin is a foreign word these days with no meaning for me. I get up, go to work, do my job. What is my sin?
I play, laugh, cry, rejoice, and mourn. What is my sin?
Okay, sometimes I shout, argue, am disagreeable. Are these sins? I nurture, protect, provide. I do the best I can.
I am here to discover my sins.
I am here to confront myself, to see myself as I really am.
I am willing to look at myself. I see separation. Separation from my family by my work, by fatigue, fear, anger, by my preoccupation with myself. I see detachment, insulating me from what I prefer not to see or deal with. Are these sins?
I am here to confess.
Yes, to confess. For only when I confess can I start anew. Only when I confess can I begin to grow.
Now is the time to sow the seeds of growth. The ground is fertile, the season is here, the time is now.
But I'm afraid to dig into the earth of my soul, for I do not know what I might find there. I don't know if I have the courage to change, to grow, to break through the crust of hardened soil, of hardened soul. Change is the corridor between where I am now and places unknown. I don't know what I might find beyond the corridor.
Though I hope for fulfillment, I fear failure. Though I hope for treasure, I fear trouble. I seek a better way,
but I fear losing my way. So, God, I have no alternative. To admit that I have failed in the past is to break ground. To examine my failures is to plant the first seed. But to grow from my failures is to stand tall in the garden of peace. Let us begin.
Time has told me you're a rare, rare find, a troubled cure for a troubled mind. And time has told me not to ask for more. Someday our ocean will find its shore. So I'll leave the ways that are making me be what I really don't want to be. Leave the ways that are making me love what I really don't want to love. Time has told me you came with the dawn, a soul with no footprint, a rose with no thorn.
Your tears, they tell me there's really no way of ending your troubles with things you can say.
And time will tell you to stay by my side, to keep on trying till there's no more to hide. So leave the ways that are making you be what you really don't want to be. Leave the ways that are making you love what you really don't want to love. Time has told me.
On Yom Kippur, we look inward and listen to our own song in an attempt to grow morally, spiritually, emotionally. But how can we grow unless we know who we are? To grow demands complete honesty with ourselves, no face to be saved, no barrier between us and the truth. For unless we drop all pretense, we will not find the truth and will never be free from yesterday's ways. So let us resign from the frantic pace of other days, and in the moving quiet of this day, face ourselves honestly, squarely. I think of myself as an ethical person. Do I live by my principles, or do I merely pay them lip service? I think of myself as a person of strong moral character. When facing life's attractive but questionable options, do I follow my conscience, or do I stray from the path? I try to make choices based on what is right, not what is popular, or convenient, or expedient. Do I, or do I do as I please, and then try to justify my behavior? I try to set a good example, by deed as well as by word. I value what is really important in life. Do I, or do I place virtual reality, material gain, and success above honor, integrity, and even the people I love? Oh God, these are difficult questions. Having to answer them makes me uncomfortable. Yet I understand part of the purpose of such probing questions. Indeed, part of the purpose of this entire day is to make me uncomfortable. Uncomfortable for the sins I have committed. I need to speak these words aloud and know that the universe hears them. I get caught in old patterns and paradigms. I am stubborn and hard-headed. In the last year, I have missed the mark more than I want to admit. Forgive me, source of all being, for the sin I have sinned before you, by allowing my body to be an afterthought too often and too easily, by not walking, running, leaping, climbing, or dancing, although I am able, by eating in my car and at my desk mindlessly and without blessing, by not embracing those who needed it and not allowing myself to be embraced, by not praising everybody's beauty with our quirks and imperfections, by letting my emotions run roughshod over the needs of others, by poking at sources of hurt like a child worrying a sore tooth, by revealing my heart before those who neither wanted nor needed to see it, by hiding love out of fear of rejection instead of giving love freely, by dwelling on what's internal when the world is desperate for healing, by indulging in intellectual argument without humility or consideration, by reading words of hatred, cultivating anger and contempt, by avoiding intellectual discomfort that might prod me into growing, by living in anticipation and letting anxiety rule me, by accepting defeatist thinking and the comfortable ache of despair, by not being awake and grateful despite uncountable blessings, by not being sufficiently gentle in my actions or in my language, by not being flexible but obstinate, stark, and unbending, by not being generous with my time, with my words, or with my being, by not being kind to everyone who crosses my wandering path. For all of these, eternal source of forgiveness, help me know myself to be pardoned. Help me feel in my bones that I'm forgiven. Remind me I'm always at one with you.
God, help me cross that desert place within me, the desert I feel when faced with my dreams, which I fear will vanish at my touch, mirages in the desert of sleeplessness and the desert of dreamlessness, and the harsh drought of a morning full of empty tasks, the desert of silence and the bone-dry rattle of wind through a mound of hollow phrases. In the drought of empty dreams, in the dreams of empty drama, I have grown barren. At times, I move without meaning, and my gestures wither in my hands. At times, I speak without meaning, and my words turn to dust in my mouth. Across the loneliness of all these deserts, God, I cry for help. As you helped my ancestors cross the desert out of exile in Egypt, help me from my exile and guide me toward at-one-ment with myself and with you.
Hopefully, each of us is nurtured in the family nest. Ideally, we are nudged and coaxed and encouraged to crawl, to walk, to run, to soar. So do we learn the values by which we live. Ideally, our parents nudged and coaxed and pushed. They were our teachers by word and by example, as were their parents for them. In the homes we establish, Love and partnership among the generations must continue to be the pattern of our lives. Therefore, if the Day of Atonement is to have full meaning for us, we must seek at-one-ment, not only with ourselves, but with our families.
There are several meditations which follow on pages 15 through 20. Please choose the ones that are appropriate for you. Yom Kippur is a time to think not only of what we have done wrong, but of what we have not done right, because sins of omission bring painful regret and are most difficult to forgive in ourselves. Yet we pass by opportunity after opportunity to express to our family and to others important to us feelings of admiration and appreciation. We expect those we care about just to know how we feel. Then one day, we look back with regret, wishing we could tell them, but we can't.
I'd like to tell you, but I haven't time.
I went out. People were coming and going, walking and running, so pressured.
Everything was rushing. Cars, trucks, the neighborhood, the whole town.
People were rushing not to waste time. They were rushing after time, to catch up with time, to gain time.
Goodbye, excuse me, I haven't time.
I'll come back later. I can't wait. I haven't time.
I must send this email, I haven't time.
I'd love to help you with your homework, but I haven't time.
How will you get to soccer practice? I haven't time.
I want to volunteer, but I haven't time.
That looks like a great concert, but I haven't time.
I can't accept having no time.
I can't think, I can't read, I'm swamped, I haven't time.
I'd like to pray, but I haven't time.
I want to tell you I love you, but I haven't time.
Today is the time to express what is often in our hearts, but seldom on our lips.
Child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch, bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. No, I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today. Got a lot to do, he said, that's okay. And he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. He said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah. You know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. He came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. I'll see you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said I'd like to see you if you don't mind. Said I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids got the flu. But it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been real nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me, yeah. My son was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle, silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then.
To the one I love, I appreciate you, not only for what you are, but for what you have helped me to be. Not only for what you have made of yourself, but for helping me become who I am. I thank you for passing over all the foolish, thoughtless things you cannot help seeing in me, and for drawing into the light the positive qualities you have found in me. You have listened, tolerated, encouraged, and supported me. You have enriched my life with a kind word, an understanding glance, a warm embrace, and most of all, by caring. You are always there for me, and that comforts me. If in this year I have offended you, belittled you, taken you for granted, or expected too much of you, I am truly sorry. Please forgive me.
To my parents, have I neglected to tell you I appreciate the sacrifices of your time for my time, of your needs for my needs? Have I neglected to tell you you have been my anchor, my sounding board, even my scapegoat? You have loved me even when I frustrated you, even when I disappointed you, even when I angered you. From your example, I have learned to love, to care, to commit, to grow. You provided me the foundation upon which to build my life. Have I neglected to tell you how much I love you? I want to tell you today.
To my child, there is great love in my heart for you, and I want you to know of that love. We may have disappointed each other, you and I, even in some ways failed each other. For my mistakes, I am truly sorry, and I ask your forgiveness. If I failed to spend enough time with you, if I let my temper flare too often for too little, if I was overly critical or overly approving, if I pushed you in certain directions for my own gratification, if I was lax when I should have set limits, if I was rigid when I should have been flexible, if I neglected you or overprotected you, if I spoke when I should have remained silent or remained silent when I should have spoken, I am deeply sorry. For you, my child, are of me, and all you feel, I feel. If I could protect you from the pain of life, I would. If I could blot out life's indignities, I would. May you forever know I love you, and as your parent, I pray we are at one again.
Oh God, help me grow in my loving relationship to my family. Help me express my feelings of pride and appreciation. And when I am angry, help me express my anger constructively. Help me be as sensitive to my family as I try to be to my associates and friends. Help me choose my words well, for some words cut deep. Help me criticize without hurting. Help me accept criticism without resentment. Help me face issues that need facing. Help me not make an issue of every little thing. Help me be less judgmental, less overbearing. Help me respect my family's right to do things their way. Help me love my children, even when I find them difficult to love. Help me love them when I find it difficult to feel loving. Help me be open to the feelings of those I love. Help me open my heart to those who love me. Help us to establish homes in the tradition of our people, homes where children honor their parents, homes where parents respect their children, homes where there is shalom. Time to call your soul a critic, no. summer home, wandering where the nuthatch winters, wings a mile long. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. But the heart has its beaches, its homelands, and thoughts of its own. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. But the heart has its seasons, its evenings, and songs of its own. There comes a Redeemer, and he slowly too fades away. And there follows his wagon behind him that's loaded with clay. And the seeds that were silent all burst into bloom and decay. And night comes so quiet, it's close on the heels of the day. Sometimes we live no particular way but our own. And sometimes we visit your country and live in your home. Sometimes we ride on your horses. Sometimes we walk alone. Sometimes the songs that we hear are just songs of our own. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. But the heart has its beaches, its homelands, and thoughts of its own. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. But the heart has its seasons, its evenings, and songs of its own.
"3,000 seconds, no more than an hour. 3,000 seconds ago, where were we? We were here. 3,000 seconds from now, where will we be?"
3,000 minutes, just over 2 days. 3,000 minutes ago, where were we? Work, home, school, a regular day. 3,000 minutes from now, where will we be?
3,000 hours, 125 days. 3,000 hours ago, where were we? Late spring, possibilities revealed, goals unachieved. 3,000 hours from now, where will we be?
3,000 days, 8 years. 3,000 days ago, where were we? Perhaps in another land, another place, another life. 3,000 days from now, where will we be?
3,000 months from now, 250 years. 3,000 months ago, where were we? Slaughtered by the thousands in Ukraine, welcomed with open arms in America. 3,000 months from now, where will we be?
3,000 months from now, where will we be?
3,000
years.
3,000 years ago,
King David took the throne.
3,000 years ago,
we heard the prophets' voices.
3,000 years ago, the divine was in our lives.
3,000 years ago,
we were in our home.
3,000 years ago, exile was a far-off nightmare.
3,000 years ago, we didn't know what we had.
3,000 years from now,
Where will we be?
3,000 years from now, will we be?
In Hebrew, the word Israel means both the people Israel and every individual Jew. Each and every one of our lives, no matter how mundane it may seem, is a microcosm of the whole people. After more than 3,000 years of feasting and famine, upturn and downfall, power and persecution, our very existence shouts, yes, we are still here.
Each one of us carries the entire world in our hearts.
Each one of us bears the entire world on our shoulders.
So we come to this question, am I failing my people?
Today we are compelled to look back a year to see 12 months of our failings and weakness. We even force ourselves to glare at our inner beings. We, because we are the Jewish people. We are what the Jewish people has become.
And even now I lie awake, knowing history has its eyes on me.
Throughout history, we Jews have clung tenaciously to our religion. Had we at any time been willing to give up our faith, our culture, or our teachings, not only would our history be different, it might have ended. Throughout history, our Jewish customs and beliefs have changed, but we refuse to abandon our God and our faith, and have been willing to suffer persecution rather than submit.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story.
A heritage of justice and peace has come down to us out of the life of our people. Some of us have strayed from our ancestral faith and broken the chain of tradition. Some, by our own actions or failure to act, have brought dishonor to the good name of our people. To betray the present is to destroy the past. To destroy the past is to extinguish the future.
But when
When
you're
you're
gone,
gone,
who remembers your name, who keeps your flame, who tells your story.
O God, help us to grow as Jews. May our homes reflect the symbols and pieties that remind us of our Jewish obligations. Forgive us if we have lost the impulse to study our past. Forgive us if we have not involved ourselves in our community. Forgive us if we have not inspired our children to love their faith.
And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell my story?
May we preserve the Jewish faith, and may the Jewish faith preserve us.
Our ancestors blessed us. We bless our children. May that blessing continue through the generations. Some days and times and ways, before all that is sacred, we attest to the beauty in life. To the magnificent splendor of this world, variously displayed in crashing surf and quiet desert, soaring peaks and fertile plains, to the outrageous outburst of spring and the kaleidoscopic palette of autumn. And for all these splendors, we declare our thanks, our praise to you. But today, in this place and time and way, we must attest to the painfulness of life, to the pernicious and perennial inclination of all humans, to distinguish us from them, to make much of differences and light of similarities. We must attest to the unjust maldistribution of life's most fundamental resources and our inclination to hoard rather than share, to ignore rather than act. And we must face how we make such divisions worse by our own acts of disregard, diminishment, and destruction. On this holiest of days, in this place and time and way, we must shamefully admit our transgressions as a society and our callousness and apathy as individuals to you. Too often, in the absence of a catastrophic event, the world is reduced to my world, my environment, my needs. There are people around me hurting, grieving, hopeless, friendless, and I turn my back. I have troubles of my own. I listen to the news. I hear about the destruction of our environment. I hear about rape and child abuse, about hate crimes. There is a world of hurt around me, and what do I say? What can I do? I am only a single voice. Am I failing my neighbors? Are we failing our world? Apathy, turned
heads are not the answer.
I am the answer. We are the answer.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
There is so much anguish and despair, so much violence and distress. Let now an infinite presence enter our souls and our minds, teaching us a gentleness that transcends force and melts our hardness of heart towards those who need us. All who struggle vainly for attention,
And those who shrink with fear at another's touch.
all whose outward ugliness may hide a soul of beauty.
And those whose awkwardness blinds us to an inner grace.
All whose minds are clouded or weak.
And all those who bear the burden of broken bodies.
All who wait in pain only for death.
And those who wait for news which never comes.
Those who are alone, unloved, with none to love.
All orphans and widows, abandoned husbands and wives, neglected children.
We sin against you when we sin against our fellow human beings.
For the sin of indifference, O God, we ask forgiveness.
For the sin of wantonly, carelessly abusing our environment, poisoning our water, our air, our soil.
For the sin of not doing my part to stop the polluting. For the sin of not doing enough to stop the polluting.
For the sin of playing it safe when moral issues flame up too hot in the community and in the world.
For the sin of mouthing the words covenant and mission and brotherhood and justice, and then letting others do our part.
And for the sin of causeless hatred, for the sin we have committed by closing our hearts to people of other races, other nationalities, other orientations.
For the sin we have committed by polluting our children's attitudes with our prejudices.
For the sin we have committed by not respecting God's image in every human being.
For all these sins, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us,
Grant us atonement.
There's a place where you don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. If you only say the word, from across the silence, your voice is heard. No, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home.
Where have all the bright dreams gone? May this penitential season make us more sensitive to the needs of our neighbors and more responsive to their pleas for sympathy and help. Uneasy and confused, we cry out, "Who is responsible?" I am responsible. Every night, millions of people go to bed hungry, many of them children. Have I done anything to help end starvation? Have I done enough to help end starvation? The streets are filled with homeless people. Have I done anything to give them a chance? Or do I walk by them, eyes closed to their plight? There are people all over the world oppressed and downtrodden, driven from their homeland, and I am asked repeatedly to help. Have I done something, anything to let them know someone cares? Or do I care? Society abounds with dejected people, on the fringe because they are uneducated, illiterate, ill-prepared to make their way in our competitive world. Have I done anything to give them hope? Or am I insensitive to their need for help? Look, I'm a very busy person. I have my family, my friends, my job, meetings to attend, and I need some time to myself. You know how it is, a very busy person. My world is important, but I must reach beyond my world. Though we can't solve the world's problems alone, or even in our lifetime, we are not absolved from the obligation to try. We must no longer leave it to the next person. Before next year, let me make a difference. I could mentor an underprivileged child. Before next year, let me make a difference. I can telephone an elderly person, alone in the world. Before next year, let me make a difference. I can feed a hungry child. Before next year, let me make a difference. I can help teach an illiterate person to read. Before next year, let me make a difference. I can reach out to an abused child. Before next year, let me make a difference. The community cries out for my involvement.
For the sin of indifference or callousness in the face of human suffering,
I ask forgiveness. For the sin of not doing my part, I ask forgiveness.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, and you need someone to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, so you reach up and you'll rise again. Look only, look around, you will be found. Crashing through, when you need someone to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
You will be found.
Today I find strength by admitting I am weak. But will I find strength tomorrow? Today I confess and face up to you, God, for the sins of a year. But will I face up tomorrow? Today I question my innermost soul to see if it is pure and clear. But will I question tomorrow? Today I pledge to follow the road that is right and not the road that is easy. But which road will I walk tomorrow? Today I am at one with myself and with you. But will I be whole tomorrow?
Choose, choose, choose life. Choose, choose, choose life. We all know hurt. We all know pain.
judge ourselves, we doubt ourselves, fears we can't contain. You cry from lonely feelings, you pass an empty day. The easy road is giving up, but there's a better way. Choose, choose, choose life. Choose, choose, choose life. Let earth and sky bear witness. Choose life. Let earth and sky bear witness. Choose life. You don't always know where you reach. You don't always know who you touch. By choosing life, you plant the seeds that enrich the world so much. Those who love you need you. Their souls require your soul. Your presence in the universe helps to make it whole. Choose, choose, choose life. Choose, choose, choose life. The land of Canaan's calling. Choose life. The land of Canaan's calling. Choose life. O God, we know perfection is beyond us, but if we stumble, let it be on steps leading upward.
We are weak and the task seems hopeless until we remember we are not alone.
There is a grace that every dawn renews, a loveliness making every morning fresh.
We shall endure, we shall prevail. We shall see the soul restored to joy, the hand return to strength, and the will regain its force.
We shall ride with hope, we, the children of the one who crowded the heavens with stars, endowed the earth with glory, and filled our minds with wonder.
Today is a day for change.
Today is a day for growth.
Today is a new beginning. And to this let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Please join us for O Say Shalom.
Say shalom, shalom, bimroma. Uya, say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'ivru, amen. Say shalom, shalom, bimroma. Uya, say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'ivru, amen. Uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimroma. Uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'ivru, amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'ivru, amen.
I want to thank everyone who participated today and wish you all Shana Tova and an easy fast, and the afternoon Torah service will begin in approximately 30 minutes. Thank you.